Well, again, so welcome everyone. Happy to have you all here. And well, my name is Chris Mejia. I'm the president of the POMS chapter for Latin America and the Caribbean. And first of all, I want to give you a big apology because we were having like some kind of technical difficulty here. It looks like the Eventbrite didn't share properly the link with all of you. It looks like the password was missing, so apologies for that. And well, now let's go into the business. Okay, so most importantly, I would like to thank you all for your patience, and then why we are developing this series of webinars. So first, it's important for us in the chapter for Latin America and the Caribbean from POMS to have the opportunity to share what our colleagues in the region are developing. And so this is a series that we're going to be having between this year and the next one, and then we will have like a different topics. Each of the topics is going to have like 3 different talks. We're going to have a webinar, we're going to have a workshop, and then we're going to have also a master class. Okay, so for that, we're going to kick off with one person that we know very well in the Scale Latin American Network and as well as in the POMS Latin American chapter, and is Gonzalo Mejía. And then I just want to thank you all for being here. Hopefully you're going to be able to get engaged with the chapter. And just last important thing to mention here, all of what we are developing here is, I wouldn't say exclusively for the Latin American region. So we welcome everyone, but typically the masterclass and the workshops for that, or for those, you need to be a Latin American member and also a POMS member, okay? So you want to enjoy like the other couple of, let's say, non-public and non-free, let's say, events. So you will need to be part of the Latin American chapter somehow, unless Agatha wants to mention something. And well, it's a pleasure to have you all here. Agatha, who is our VP of meetings for the chapter, probably can tell you a little bit more about that and introduce our colleague, Dr. Gonzalo Mejía. Thank you, Gonzalo, also for being with us today. So Agatha, to you.
Thank you, Chris. Good day to everyone. Good morning, afternoon, I don't know, depending on where you are right now. So welcome. Thank you for being here. We're very happy with a lot of people subscribing to this event. We are starting with this, and hopefully it will be something that will remain for the chapter as a benefit for our members. So like Chris said, the idea of this event is to introduce you to some topics related to POMS, but as well to introduce you to the chapter itself, so you can enroll and be part of this network, because the idea is to make this network grow and make better contents every time. So, and thank you, Chris. Thank you, Gonzalo, for being here. Now I'm gonna introduce you to Gonzalo Mejía. Gonzalo is a university professor at the Universidad de La Sabana in Colombia. He has over 20 years of teaching, research, and consulting as experience. He's a distinguished professor in engineering, and he was nominated twice at the Portfolio Award for Best Teacher in the Year in Colombia, and he is twice winner of the Outstanding Faculty Advisor Award from the Institute of Industrial and Systems Engineering. He's an active member of a local, international, academic, and professional organizations. This year, he won the second place in the Curricular Innovation Award from the Universidad de La Sabana. He is president of the Americas chapter in the International Foundation for Production Research. He's a senior researcher in Ciencias, director of the Applied Analytics program at the Universidad de La Sabana as well, and author of numerous articles in prestigious and text magazines, journals, and guest editor in books and academic journals. So as you can see, Gonzalo has a vast experience in this topic, and he's gonna share with us some of his experience. Thank you, everybody, again. Welcome, and I give the floor to Gonzalo.
Gonzalo, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Chris and Agatha, for the kind introduction. Welcome, everybody, by the way. As Agatha said, I'm professor at the Universidad de La Sabana. The title of my presentation is Artificial Intelligence Applied to Production and Operation Management. I hope you enjoy the talk. And this talk is sponsored by the Production and Operations Management Society, the Latin American chapter. And hope everybody join POMS or the chapter. Hope to see you next year in our annual meeting in Cartagena, Colombia. So we can discuss in person many things that are going on in this interesting and incredible topic of production and operation management. Okay. Let me see 1 second. Okay, so everybody is talking today about artificial intelligence. And I have a few questions that I hope I can solve, or you can solve by yourselves during this presentation. Where does it come from? Does AI come from? Actually, what is it? What applications does artificial intelligence in production and operation management? And the last word, probably the most important one is it another buzzword? Is it going to stay? Are we going to see artificial intelligence in the long term or only for a few years? So this is the basic introduction. And before I start talking about AI, I want to show you like the story of the Industrial Revolution. Let us remember a little bit of it. The story is not a typo. This is a term that I borrow from a British historian called Michael Wood, which has an amazing series on several topics on history. And he doesn't say the history, but the story of because he wants to talk, he wants to present the story of different topics. And I'm going to show you, I will be talking about the story of the Industrial Revolution, which is the precursor of artificial intelligence. So remember, the first Industrial Revolution appeared in the 18th century, basically 1780 to 1830. The first Industrial Revolution brought us the steam machine, which led to the development of large machines for factories, and of course, the steam trains that created such an amazing revolution in the societies of the 18th centuries. Then, now in the late 19th centuries and the beginning of the 12th centuries of the 20th century, we had the assembly line, another big revolution that changed the world, that changed the mass-produced and mass brought the car to our lives. After this second revolution, we had the third industrial revolution that started, let's say, after the Second World War until, let's say, 2010. And it brought automation, computers, and we start talking about technologies, renewable technologies. We started to think about the environment, all the pollution, and all these bad practices that today we are very, very concerned of. And during this period, the first neural networks appeared in the world. At that time, we didn't have the computer power to make them like a reality, but the theoretical foundations were settling. And during we had the last industrial revolution. Now we're talking about the Industry 4.0. Now we have different things, different words that you can see here. In this cloud of words, the artificial intelligence is probably the biggest one. What has brought this fourth industrial revolution? Came with the advancements of many things like big data, cloud computing, and of course, artificial intelligence. And this has been a change. While the previous revolutions focused on machines and manufacturing, the Industry 4.0 has changed many aspects of society. Now, everybody, all of us are permeated by AI these days. In terms of manufacturing and production management, we have cyber physical systems, smart factories, digital twins, and we have a wide use of AI in many aspects of our lives. Not only manufacturing, we see like the hard automation, but there's more about it. Just in case you're not very familiar with the topic, artificial intelligence is a very broad term. And I'm going to mention the main aspects. One of them is machine learning, probably the most, the first thing that comes to our minds when we talk about AI is machine learning, ML. So we have basically three main topics: supervised learning, which is a type of machine learning where algorithms learn from labeled data, meaning that this data has both features and output data that we have to adjust with algorithms to match what the data tell us. So basically, we have labels and we have data, and we have to match this. Once the models are trained, we can make predictions on new and seen data. The second one is unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, we don't have these labels, but we're trying to discover with the algorithms patterns that are hidden in the data. And the third one is reinforcement learning, which is a basically trial and error approach. Reinforcement learning is very common in games. Maybe you know the chess games, the first, not the first one, but the Big Blue that defeated Garry Kasparov some 20 years ago. Was a game trained with reinforcement learning. And the surprising thing is many of the plays that were played with by this computer were not like typical plays that the chess players used to play. Okay. Now we have also deep learning. The father of these deep learning algorithms are the neural networks back in the 50s. But based on that, we created, or the AI community created, the convolutional neural networks and the recurrent neural networks. Convolutional neural networks are basically mostly used for image processing, also for natural language processing, also for image recognition, many of these things. Basically, it has some layers that are trained to extract features, and layers that have basically that define, basically make the classification of the images or sounds or whatever application you have. Image recognition and classification, they have identifying objects, faces seen in images. We also have object detection for localization, finding and pinpointing specific objects with an image. Also for video analysis, and all these wide variety of applications with the deep learning. Last but not least, we have also natural language processing. Basically, the idea was to process these data that are written in natural way and extract information for that. We have text processing, speech recognition also, but not only to say, okay, I say that word, but also, what are you trying to say? And the latest one is our friend, generative AI, which is a type of artificial intelligence that can produce various types of content, including text, images, and audio. You know, ChatGPT, you know, Bard, you know, there are way too many now to mention, but this is the new wave of artificial intelligence that has permeated our lives. And sentiment analysis, also based on, this is a combination of graph theory with natural language processing, basically tell us what's happening in the world based on analysis of principally social networks. What do we have in operation management, in production and operation management. We have different ways of things. We have robotic process automation. Robots do repetitive tasks and that are automated, freeing up human workers. And we have these human workers to do high-level processing instead of repetitive, sometimes dangerous tasks. We also have predictive quality control. AI algorithms can analyze data from sensors and cameras to identify potential errors, potential failures in machines before they occur. Some more in the soft areas are supply chain optimization. We can do better demand forecasting that can optimize inventory levels and, of course, improve service levels at the stores and the retail aspects. Traditional forecasting methods only used time series, but now with demand forecasting, we can also incorporate different variables into our forecasting models. Basically, this is a brief overview of the potential of AI in our lives. Basically, we have these three big categories, and our challenge is to incorporate them into production and operation management, which is the areas that we all, I hope, are working. I'm going to show you, instead of like mentioning, I don't know, the typical presentation in which this application improved the operation of this company in 20% or blah, blah, blah. I want to show you some specific cases that I have worked with, not directly involved, but I've been witnessing this, and that have direct implementations in the real world. So I'm going to show you some case studies. These are from the Masters in Applied Analytics in the Universidad de La Sabana. Very interesting cases that I want to share with you. And hopefully we can collaborate and cooperate, in many countries in the world. This can have a direct impact, and then it can be very, very useful for many organizations. The first one is improving the logistics of the Food Bank of Bogota. This work has been done by Elena Arroyo, Alejandra Castellanos, Viviana Reina. I was the main supervisor, and the co-supervisor was Agatha here. Food banks, what they do, the Banco de Alimentos of Bogota, they play an important role in addressing food insecurity in the Colombian capital. What does a food bank? Basically collect surplus food from various sources, including supermarkets, restaurants, and some manufacturers, food processors. They can be expired or near expiration date products, defective sometimes, or sometimes also overstock items. They sort and inspect this food, make them ready for consumption, and they deliver these products, these food products, to several NGOs throughout the country. Actually, the Association of Food Banks is throughout the country. The Food Bank of Bogota is only in the region of Bogota, the capital city of Colombia. For those who don't know, it's about 10 million people city, a big one, with a serious traffic problem. So the delivery is really a challenge. And this challenge, and on top of that, the planning of these distribution routes has been made manually, very, very empirically, without any software or some optimization tools. And we're talking about 600 NGOs, so it's a big problem. So basically, we did that. So the top priority, actually, I didn't think that the top priority for them was the route for distribution, but was the top priority that the food bank established with us. And we did a 3-step procedure. The first one, we did some clustering, which is a way of unsupervised learning. And then we developed the routes with a free tool, OR tools. This is by Google. And the last thing is we assign days to routes. So not every day we have to deliver to these NGOs. Sometimes the trucks are used for picking up food from the donors. So in the first step, this is what we did. The clustering, we use a classical algorithm, which is the k-means. And we established that there were basically 4 distribution zones. Those familiar with the k-means know that we have to put the number of clusters. And there are some ways to decide what is the optimal number of clusters. Based on these metrics, the silhouette and but basically in the elbow methods, we decided that we needed 4 zones, which is fine, because this is more or less the way Bogota is divided. So we have the northern zone, the central zone, the southeast, southwest, and the southeast zones. As you can see, there are many more NGOs or points of delivery in the southern part of Bogota, which is, I would say, the poorest part of Bogota. Basically, in each of these zones, we were going to solve a vehicle routing problem. Basically, a capacitated vehicle routing problems with some capacity of the trucks, of course, and also a limit on the distance that the trucks had to travel on each trip. Based on that, we developed the routes for them. And this is basically the maps: the northern zone, the central, southwest, and the southeast part of Bogota. And we found some results that this actually is being implemented in the Food Bank of Bogota. They were very interested in the project because they needed this. It's not like oh, we're going to postpone. No, they're using it right now, and you can see the numbers are very good. Basically, we're reducing in 21% the number of hours per week travel, and also we're increasing the food that is being delivered to these NGOs. Also, the number of beneficiaries has increased, and the number of trucks has been going down. So we can use these trucks for other purposes. Actually, the trucks are owned by the food bank. So this is a nice combination of different tools: machine learning tools like unsupervised learning, with OR tools, and some also management of change, because of course people in the food bank, there are some engineers but are not used to these tools. The second example that I want to show you is some exploratory data analysis for digital transformation of corner stores that in the Farol lab. This is the Food and Retail Operations Lab, actually led by Chris Mejía. We call it nanostores. And this is a study that we made for FENALCO. FENALCO is the National Trade Federation of Colombia. And they have a program that is called FENALtiendas, which is like this is support for businesses, technology, and all sorts of education for nanostore owners and nanostore tenders. We survey over 800 corner shops throughout the country, in all regions of the country, and we wanted to evaluate the digital maturity levels and the factors that impact why these corner shops are in a very, very primary stage, very early stage, I would say, in terms of digital transformation. This work was developed by Stephanie Cabanzo and Ronnie Pedraza, also students of the master program. And we did some interesting things. Like, again, we did some AI, we used some AI tools like, K-means clustering, unsupervised learning. And basically, with some principal component analysis, we classified these nanostores in different groups according to their maturity level. Unsurprisingly, most of the nanostores were classified in the cluster 0, as you can see, which is basically they have very, very little use of technology and of course, forecasting, inventory management, all these tools are basically non-existent. Basically, the only technology that they use is WhatsApp, basically, or some texting tool. And none of the stores were like in the fourth category, which is native digital. Only we had 3 clusters because the fourth one didn't exist. And why did we do that? Basically, we want to develop strategies for each of these clusters. And the good thing about these clusters is they are not depending on the judgment of some people, because we also have some indices based on the judgment of experts, but it depends on people, and people come and go, so we prefer to let the data speak. And create these tools, and so we are developing strategies for each of these clusters, depending on the maturity level. We also did some exploratory factor analysis, which is kind of artificial intelligence. It's not really, it's more from the statistics area, but still we use some data analysis to do that. Basically, our model is what leads to digital maturity, and we found these 16 variables that we used for the in the surveys. We did all these validity tests, like the Cronbach alpha for the survey, the variance, the percentage of explanation of the model or the variance explained by the Bartlett test, the KMO test, and we classify these factors in 3 and 4 big, I would say, like cumulative variables. Some part is management, another one is communication, technology, and social aspects, aspects of the nanostores. And PENALCO is pushing the government to develop some sort of public policies to improve the management and the technologies of these nanostores. As in many countries of the emerging world, nanostores account for over, I would say, 80% of the sales of the big food processors or big manufacturers in terms of foods, and can be CPGs or fresh foods. And it's just in terms of numbers, of course, they are more than 99% of the retailers are these small stores. So they are very important, not only for the social network, for people, but also for the companies that sell, the manufacturing companies that sell their products to these nanostores. We also have other examples like failure prediction. A company in Ecuador used supervised learning methods for predicting failures in automated storage systems. We use some time series for prediction. They use some algorithms like random forest and XG boosting, which are supervised learning algorithms, classification learning. And they have some potential reduction of cost in 20%. I have to say, though, that these methods are still in development. The first results were not very good, but we are working on improving these algorithms or maybe the variables to improve the prediction capability. So basically, not everything is a rosy story. Everything has some issues behind. And Another potential use of this AI methods is the location of the street market. This is part of my research, my own research lines, which is the use of competitive facility locations model, which is an OR method. This is the line of research started when I was a professor in Valparaiso. I see there's some colleagues from Chile here that knew me or know me. So based on that, I started my working on this location of the street markets. And we find this is a very interesting topic because combines several disciplines like AI for logistic rejection, some other classification methods or recommendation methods, basically to make people decide where to go shopping for fresh foods. Combination with OR methods like the facility location problem. And also we use analytical hierarchical process, which is the a qualitative method, basically to weight the facilities in a more, I would say, unbiased way. So in this model, we use a logistic regression, but in a mixed integer linear programming formulation. And I did some work in Valparaiso, Chile. The paper is being published. And with Agatha and Chris, we're working on location of markets in the northern part of Bogota, where the University of La Sabana is located, and also in central Bogota. We have a few papers, working papers, I would say, going on that will be submitted soon. There are other applications. Another topic that that I like very much is the flower sector, because I had the opportunity to work in Flores, which is the Colombian Association of Flower Growers for exports. And we are using machine learning methods to predict the demand. Another potential use of AI in the flower sector is to predict the flowering of the plants. This is not easy to do in greenhouse flowers. It's easier to do when the plants grow outdoors, because sometimes they use drones, and drones are difficult to handle indoors. But there are some potential applications in the flower sector. Not only production demand planning, but also flowering, and also to especially for roses and carnations, to determine the best way to cut these flowers to maximize profits. And also we can use also some sustainability metrics, like the use of water, the use of women in the field. Actually, we're working also in Ecuador. One of my PhD students is working with the cocoa growers in the Manatí province of Ecuador, and we're looking at AI for investigating the empowerment of women in these kind of crops. So you can see there are many applications, and I wanted to bring this up because I didn't want to talk about like robotics in a factory in China or in Germany. I wanted to bring something more on our specific needs, and I'm sure in other countries in Africa, in Asia, there can be some amazing applications of AI in production and operation management and supply chain. But unfortunately, Latin America is a long way from realizing the full industry 4.0 ideals. There are some applications that we're bringing some stuff. Now we have IoT in ports or in roads, in the tool booths and stuff like that. But we are a long way compared to other countries. But the good thing is we as researchers have a task to do. So we have to promote the use of AI specifically in the areas that impact most our societies. And of course, employment, urban planning, many of our cities are very disorganized, didn't have a planning methods or policies. Rural development is also very important for us. Peacemaking in countries with stories of conflict, a long history of conflict can be also used. And we have a task to do. And the last question that I think it hasn't been solved during this presentation is it another buzzword, or is it something that is going to stay in the generations to come? I personally believe that AI is here to stay. I don't imagine that it's going to be, maybe the name will change, of course, as many things have changed during the logistics, evolved to supply chain, and some people say this is not the same thing, but blah, blah, blah. But AI and the development or new technologies will stay. And we have to deal with that, like it or not. So, again, I already said it, but I want to finish with this is we as researchers that we are on the crest of the waves, we have to push for the use and ethical use of AI in our societies. And this has been my presentation. And thank you very much. Gracias, obrigado. I don't know if there is time for questions. So.
Thank you, Gonzalo. So we're going to open the floor. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to raise your hand or just write in the comment section if you cannot talk right now. So I don't know if there is any comment. Guess not. So just to break the ice, I'm going to start, and maybe after we can see if someone else wants to add something. So Gonzalo, what is your perspective? Like you said that you think that AI and all those tools are coming to stay. How hard do you think it's going to be to implement those type of tools in regions like Latin America, Caribbean, that you know that we are still learning how to manage our data? And we can see like large companies are still working with Excel spreadsheets because it's hard to consolidate and understand how to manage the data and how to generate something else from it and use those tools that people are still scared of. So how do you think is going to be the process? What do you think is coming next? What competencies should we learn for that? And I don't know, what's your perspective?
Thank you, Agatha, for the question. Well, first of all, I have to say that that you cannot say like how it's going to be implemented in a region, because a region is very, or in our regions, are very heterogeneous. Even a country like Colombia, Bolivia, Chile, we have enormous differences between, say, the native digital users of AI and the people who barely use the cellular phone, and WhatsApp is the only AI quotes tool of that they use. So I would say, like in the banking sector, they are leading the way. They're very open to implement these tools. Many banks, at least in Colombia, are franchises. Well, I don't know if that's the word, but are branches from other parts of the world, and so for them it's easier to implement these tools. But even like the local names in banking are very open to use these tools. They have face recognition, they have very good chat bots, and well, many stuff like that. However, like in the countryside, like 90% of the farmers in Colombia are very small in terms of the area that they cultivate. Of course, we have a large farming companies, especially those for palm oil and sugarcane. These, of course, they are open to use these tools, but in the countryside, we are still a long way to go. It's difficult. I will start like very slowly, bringing them technology that they can use. Basically, they use the mobile phone, WhatsApp, and so this is like the first approach. Now you can develop some apps that they can use, and like little by little they can be more open to use these tools. Especially maybe not I would say the senior ones, but the younger ones, they're be more likely to use them. So I wouldn't say there's a single answer for that. So it depends on where you are. I would say on the top is the banking sector, insurance, finance sectors, and then manufacturing, retail, and last is the farming, the rural sector. So they need different strategies.
That's true. I mean, what we need to see is that how much willing the companies are to actually invest on that as well, because we're learning about that. Academic is working on that, and I'm sure that a lot of the assistants here are working in some of the solutions, but we need the investment to be able to manage all those tools and to be able to manage all the data that we're generating right now. So
that's a combination of technology, organizations, and the environment.
Yeah, it has a lot of pillars that should be balanced to be able to implement those. So I don't know if there's any other comment or question. Sorry, I have something here. Okay, then. Okay, so if there is a question here. Yeah, you can write, if you cannot talk right now, you can write the questions. So Edgar is asking how to
you can write it in Spanish also, or say it in Spanish.
Yeah.
I will try to translate.
Yeah, of course.
In Agatha can also translate Portuguese.
So it says, how did you generate productive equity and better income distribution with artificial intelligence in the agricultural field?
That's a good question. I think this question has been around for many years, and I think, but I'm glad that you made the questions. I think AI has a role to play. Remember, during I don't know, some 20 years ago, if you want to listen to the news, you had to turn on the TV or the radio, and everything was there. Now we can have also access to social networks and many other ways to learn what's going on in the world with different opinions. Is more democratic. I'm not saying it's perfectly good, because you know all the topic of fake news and so on. I think the same can happen with the AI to provide a more equitable distribution of the capital. I would say, for example, if you implement some sort of information systems linked with mobile phone applications. Say farmers in the countryside can access to real-time information on prices and demands in the points of sale, in the points of on consumption, so they can decide what to do with their crops. They can postpone in some cases it's not possible, of course, I know, but to postpone the sale or to postpone the harvesting on some agricultural products if they have more information. Because as of today, they depend basically, they rely on intermediation to do that. So, well, we are used to say that who owns the information owns the world. This is something that we can democratize with the use of technology. And also artificial intelligence is based on that. So basically you can have some forecasting on the prices or on the harvesting or on the I don't know, on the weather. So the farmers in the countryside can have more power to decide on their products, on who to sell or what to sell, so on a specific point of time.
Thank you. So Gonzalo, we have 2 more questions here in the chat. The first one is, have you tested the capabilities of generative AI in demand planning or other supply chain optimization problems? This is a question from Jorge.
I personally have not. However, I recently came across a special issue of some journal that were requesting papers on generative AI and supply chain optimization. So I'm pretty sure there's some stuff that can be done. For me, it's more like okay, tell me what's going on around, what's going on around, and let's see how we can implement it. But I don't know if we can automate this process of demand planning with generative AI. But I'm pretty sure in a few years' time, there will be many uses of generative AI that we are not yet thinking about.
That's true. Thank you. So we have a question from Diana. She says, thank you, Gonzalo, great presentation. I have a broader question about data availability sharing in Colombia's industry. Based on your experience, what do you think today are the industries that are the most open to share data for modeling purposes?
Well, this is again a difficult question because companies are very jealous about sharing their data. Of course, there are very sensitive data like income or salaries or personal information that the companies don't want to share because the bad use of this data. Like, I'm sure everybody gets every day several emails asking for passwords, and some people are sneaking out this information to, I don't know. So I don't think companies would be more open to share this data unless you sign some agreements and maybe you can mask this data. In some cases, there could be in my, I say I have worked with different type of companies like manufacturing companies, retail companies, and recently now that I'm working on this topic of analytics and more with the I'm interacting more with the banking sector. They share some data. Of course, they put many restrictions, and I don't debate about that. I mean, they know they have I know they have a reason for that. But yeah. So For modeling purposes, if you want to model a supply chain, go for a company that has many links and is willing to share the data. If you have a company, say you want to model a supply chain with many stakeholders, and each with different goals, it's going to be more difficult to find data, good data, because not everybody has the same data quality.
I mean, it's a sensitive topic, and companies are still learning to find the benefit on that. Until they cannot find it, it's gonna be hard for them to share everything.
Yeah, just to close the question, I would say companies that work less with sensitive data would be more willing to share this data.
Yeah, and I guess it's a matter of generating the value, right? If they find the value on what you're modeling, I think they'll be more open to share with you. So I don't know if there's any further question. I think we're done. We're like right about the time. So thank you, Gonzalo. Thank you for sharing your experience. I think it's very valuable to see not only what academia can do regarding the models, but as well how you can apply and share that experience with the industry. I think that's the most the most important part, is to see how our models and how AI and how all those tools are being applied and are being used in this context. So thank you, Gonzalo, for sharing. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Just to remind you, next month we're gonna have a workshop with one of our friends as well from the network, that is Sergio Carvalheiro. He has a broad experience using AI as well, and this event specifically is gonna be only for POMS members. So please, if you have any questions about how to enroll in the POMS chapter, you can always reach out to us, and we're gonna lead you to that. As you know, we have we're not only part of the whole POMS network, but as well we have to generate a network and engage people on our region, because the idea is to see how we can develop those tools and how we can reinforce the initiatives in POMS in Latin America and the Caribbean. So you are very welcome to reach out to us. Please enroll into the network. We have upcoming events next year in Cartagena, and then we have another event at POMS Global. There's going to be in Minnesota as well. So you're very welcome to enroll and to be part of it. I see some comments here.
Thank you, Agatha. Here's my email, just if you want to be in touch with me. You can also look me up in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all these networks. I have accounts.
All the networks.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know if Chris want to add something to it.
No, just also acknowledge the great presentation. Gonzalo, is always very insightful to listen from all the amazing work that you have been developing. And thanks, for volunteering to start this webinar series. Thank you all, and we hope to have you in the next ones to come, okay? Have all a nice, end of your year, because we won't see each other until probably next year. And thank you very much, guys. That's it, Agatha.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gonzalo. Thank you, Chris. See you soon.
Bye-bye.